Hey guys, this is the lesson for finding the area of a triangle. So we are going to find the area of right triangles, other triangles, by using decomposition and composition, and by using a formula to find these. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll go right into number 1. Here we have a question that says, Maria's class is painting a mural on a school wall. Staff at a Nakoma Cultural Center help Maria copy a Nakoma Pueblo pottery design to use in the mural. Maria draws her design on 1 centimeter grid paper. She begins with one of the triangles. What is the area of Maria's triangle? So there's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to show you both ways. The first way is by using decomposition. So what we're going to do here is we're going to decompose or put it into smaller pieces to make a new shape. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and outline where I want my new shape to be. And then I'm going to use a different color to help me kind of visualize where I'm putting these pieces. So I'm taking this part of the triangle and moving it here. And then I'm going to take this part of the triangle and move that here so that I can find that total area. So now really what I'm doing is I am finding the area of a rectangle because I have drawn here a rectangle. So the formula for a rectangle is area equals base times height. Now my base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my height here is 2. So we'll do area equals 8 times 2. When we multiply that out, we get 16 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's our first way of doing it, is by decomposing or taking apart the triangle and making it into a friendlier shape. The second way that we're going to look at it today is by using the area of a triangle formula. So that's area equals half base times height. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and erase this model here so that I can show you the other way. Okay, so when I'm looking for the formula, what I need to do is I need to find 2 pieces of information. What's the base of the triangle and what's the height? So the base we already found is this portion here, and we know that that's 8. That's 8 across. Now we need to think about the height. The height, just like in a parallelogram, is the bottom of the shape to the very top of the shape. So for here, we're looking at the top of the shape all the way down to the bottom of the shape, and that's, if I count it up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I've found both dimensions. All I have to do now is just plug it into my formula. So area equals half my base, which is 8, height, which is 4. And then I can just go ahead and multiply those out. 8 times 4 is 32. And now I need to find half of 32. So 1 times 32 is the same as saying 32 divided by 2. And when I divide that up, I get 16 centimeters squared. So either way is fine on how you want to solve it. Okay, either you can decompose it or you can just use the straight measurements. I'm going to skip forward here. Looking at number 2, forest managers plant trees in a triangular section of a state park. The managers model the area on grid paper. Each grid square represents 1 kilometer squared. What is the area of the section of the forest that the forest managers plant with trees? Show your work. So again, we can do these both the same ways. We can either find the height along with the base, and I'll show you both ways. So the first one is we're going to try decomposing or composing, making a new shape. So when I'm looking at this here, I see it's kind of a long triangle, right? And if I were to make a duplicate or a copy of this shape and put it down here on the bottom, the shape I could make is another parallelogram. Okay, so if you see this blue portion here is half filled in of the parallelogram. So I can find the whole area of the parallelogram and then just take half of it to find that triangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our base, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to find our height. 1, 2, 3. And now we can multiply that together. So area equals base times height for a parallelogram. So we have 6 times 3. Okay, so the area of a parallelogram of that shape there is 18. But we need to remember we're only using half of this shape. So we're going to actually divide this 18 in half or multiply it by half. So we're going to say multiplied by half. And our area now becomes 9 kilometers squared. Okay, that's the first way to do it. Okay. The second way to do it is looking at it just with measurements. Okay. So again, we have our base. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to look at our height here. Okay, and our height right here, you see there's a little piece of triangle down there at the bottom, so we're going to call that, we'll call that 3. Okay, just like our other one. And then we are going to use our area of a triangle, which is half base times height. Then we're just going to plug in our values. And you should see it looks very similar to the work that we did with the parallelogram. So 6 times 3, 18, and half times 18 is the same thing as 9. So either way you do it, either by making a new shape or just plugging in the numbers, either one is fine. Looking here at number 3, we can see this isn't on a grid paper. We're actually just given all of the dimensions. So for this one, the easiest way to approach it is by just using our formula here. So area equals half base times height. So I'm just going to look at the triangle here, and I see that this red portion here is the base. That's where if I were to stand it up, that would be the bottom. And then I can see from the bottom of the shape to the very top of the shape is the height, which is right here. Okay, these 10s we don't need to worry about. Those are the side lengths of the triangle. They're not how tall it is. How tall it is from the bottom of the shape to the top of the shape. So now we can just go ahead and put in our values. 7 was our base. Our height is 9.4. And I'm just going to go over here to do some math work. So we have 9.4 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 7 times 9 is 63, plus 2 is 65, so we end up with 65.8. So we're just going to go ahead and write that in our equation. Now we need to multiply by half or divide by 2 to find this answer. So I'm just going to make myself a quick long division problem here, and I always bring up my decimals so I don't forget about it. Remember, we're dividing by 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times, with none remaining. Bring down the next place value. 2 goes into 5 2 times, not evenly. We only get to 4, and then we have a remainder of 1. Then we're going to bring down our next value, which is 8, so we have 18. 2 goes in evenly to 18 9 times, with no remainder. So now we can see that our area is 32.9 centimeters squared. Super doable. And finally, Elena claims that the expression 1/2 times 4 times 5 represents the area of the triangle in square inches. Explain why Elena is not correct. So we know that she did the problem wrong. So we're just going to try and see where she went wrong. Then explain how to correct her error and find the area of the triangle. So we know area equals half base times height, right? So in Elena's, she put that 4 was the base. Now let's check here. If I were to turn this, I'm actually going to make a copy of this triangle here and turn it. If it were to sit on its side, what would the base be? Right here, that 4. So she got that right. So that's perfect. So she has area equals half 4. Now we need to look for what she put for her height. So in hers, she has a 5. So what she did is she used this value right here. And this is a hypotenuse of a right triangle. That's a length. That's not how tall the shape is. How tall the shape is from the very bottom. Is the very bottom of the shape all the way to the top. So we're actually looking at trying to use 3. So where she went wrong is that she used the length of the triangle instead of the height. So now we can just go ahead and solve the problem to show what the actual area is. So 4 times 3 is 12. And then half of 12, or 12 divided by 2, is 6. Ta-da! So we know, if we were to explain it in writing, that Elena used the side length rather than the height. Okay. All right, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy math.